Most Australians will never save $20,000. Not because they can't, not because they don't earn enough, but because nobody ever told them what actually happens when you do. And that's exactly what this video is about. Because here's what the data shows. $20,000 isn't just a number. It's a threshold, a line in the sand between two completely different financial lives. And once you cross it, the rules of money change. The opportunities change. You change. So let me ask you 3 things before we get into it. Why do most people stay stuck in the earn and spend cycle their entire lives? What does financial science actually say about stress and decision-making? And at what exact point does saving money start to feel like it's working for you instead of against you? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll have a completely different relationship with that $20,000 figure. Let's go. First, let's look at where Australians actually stand right now. And these numbers are worth paying attention to. According to the Australian Bureau of Statistics, the median savings account balance for Australian households sits somewhere between $10,000 and $15,000. Sounds okay on the surface, right? But that median masks a brutal reality. A 2023 survey by the Financial Services Council found that nearly 40% of Australians couldn't access $2,000 within a week without borrowing or selling something. Not $20,000, $2,000. And the Reserve Bank of Australia's data tells us that for households in the bottom 2 income quintiles, the average savings buffer covers less than 3 weeks of essential expenses. 3 weeks. That's the margin between stability and crisis for millions of Australians. So when we talk about $20,000 as a turning point, this isn't motivational content. This is arithmetic. The data sets a very clear line between those who have financial breathing room and those who are permanently one bad month away from disaster. Now here's where it gets interesting. Most people think saving money is just about the number in your account. That's the common belief. More money saved equals more financial security in a straight line. But that's not actually what happens. The real shift that occurs at $20,000 isn't financial. It's neurological. In 2013, a landmark study published in the journal Science by researchers Sendel Mullainathan and Eldar Schaffer introduced something called the scarcity mindset. Here's what they found. When people are operating under financial stress, when money is genuinely tight, cognitive bandwidth is measurably reduced. We're talking about the equivalent of a 13-point drop in functional IQ. That's not a metaphor. That's a measured, quantifiable hit to your ability to think, plan, and make decisions. Why does this matter? Because when you're in survival mode, when every dollar is already allocated before it lands in your account, your brain literally cannot think long-term. It defaults to short-term relief. That's not weakness. That's neuroscience. This is the deeper truth that most finance content skips over. It's not that financially struggling people make bad decisions because they're bad with money. It's that financial scarcity creates a cognitive environment that makes good decisions neurologically harder to reach. And this is exactly what $20,000 begins to fix. So let me explain the mechanism here, because this is the core of everything. When your savings balance is 0, or worse, negative, every financial decision carries maximum weight. Should I pay the electricity bill or the credit card minimum? Can I afford to see the dentist this month? Do I take the cheaper grocery option, even though it means driving further and burning more petrol? These aren't just inconvenient questions. They are a constant, unrelenting drain on your mental energy. Financial researchers call this cognitive overload. And when you're in it, long-term thinking, investing, career decisions, negotiating a raise, essentially becomes inaccessible. Your brain is too busy managing today's fire. Now here's where the $20,000 threshold enters the picture with real data behind it. Research from the Brookings Institution and several Australian behavioral economists suggest that a savings buffer of roughly 3 to 4 months of essential living expenses is where the transition from financial stress to financial stability begins to register psychologically. For an average Australian adult, 3 months of essential expenses, rent or mortgage contribution, food, transport, utilities, run somewhere between $15,000 and $22,000. $20,000. In other words, sits right at the bottom of that band. It's not the finish line, but it is the starting line of a completely different financial experience. Let me put some real numbers on what that looks like in practice. Below $20,000 in savings, the average Australian faces what I call stage 1, the survival loop. You earn, you spend, you have nothing left. Every unexpected expense, a car repair, a medical bill, a broken appliance, goes straight onto a credit card or becomes a personal loan. According to ASIC's Money Smart data, the average credit card debt per Australian cardholder in 2024 was approximately $3,100. Small amounts. But at 20% interest, even $3,000 can cost you $600 a year in interest alone, money that could be going into savings. This is the mechanism that keeps people stuck. It's not laziness. It's structural. The absence of savings creates the conditions that make saving harder. But here's where things change. At $20,000, you cross into what I'll call stage 2, the buffer. And 3 things happen almost immediately. Number 1, fear decreases. This is documented. A 2022 study by the University of Melbourne's Melbourne Institute found that households with liquid savings above $15,000 reported significantly lower financial anxiety scores than those below that threshold, even when controlling for income. The number in the account changes the emotional experience of money. Number 2, decision quality improves. Remember the cognitive bandwidth research we talked about earlier? When you're not in scarcity mode, you literally get that bandwidth back. You start thinking in months and years instead of days and weeks. You start asking questions like, where should I put this money? Instead of how do I make it to Friday? Number 3, compound growth becomes visible. Here's the maths. At $20,000, with even a conservative return of 4.5% in a high-yield savings account or a simple ETF, you're generating $900 a year in returns. That's not going to make you rich on its own, but it's not nothing either. And more importantly, it's enough to feel real. You can see the money working. That visibility is a psychological accelerant. It makes you want to save more. Now let me show you the growth loop this creates, because this is the part most people don't see until they're living it. Less financial stress leads to better decision-making. Better decision-making leads to better performance at work. Studies consistently show that financially stressed employees take more sick days, are less productive, and are more likely to pass on opportunities because they can't afford to take risks. Better work performance leads to higher income potential. Higher income creates more savings capacity. More savings reduces financial stress. That's the loop. And $20,000 is where it starts turning in your favor instead of against you. Here's the flip side of that loop, because it's just as important. When you're below that threshold, the opposite loop operates. Stress impairs performance. Impaired performance limits income. Limited income creates more stress. You're not just running in place, you're running uphill. And the hill gets steeper the longer you stay below the line. But here's the part most people don't realize. And this might be the most practically important thing in this video. $20,000 doesn't just protect you from the downside. It opens the upside. That's the shift that the raw savings figure doesn't capture. And it goes even further when we look at investing specifically. In Australia, you can start investing in ASX-listed ETFs with as little as $500. But at $20,000, you reach a meaningful threshold. Your annual returns become large enough to reinvest and actually notice growth. Your portfolio starts to have leverage, not borrow money leverage, but psychological leverage. You have enough skin in the game that you follow the market, you learn, you engage. That engagement compounds your financial knowledge, not just your financial capital. Let me add the psychological layer here, because data alone doesn't capture the full picture. There's an identity shift that happens when you cross the $20,000 mark. It's subtle, but it's real, and it's documented in financial psychology literature. Before that threshold, most people unconsciously identify as someone who doesn't have savings. It's not a statement they'd make out loud, but it shapes behavior, spending patterns, the way they talk about money, the way they feel when they check their bank account. After that threshold, the identity starts to shift. Research on financial self-efficacy, your belief in your own ability to manage money, shows that tangible evidence of saving success fundamentally changes self-perception. You start to think of yourself as someone who builds wealth, not someone who spends paychecks. An identity is behavior. What you believe you are, you act like. A self-identified wealth builder makes systematically different spending decisions than a self-identified consumer. Not because they have more willpower, but because the decision frame has changed entirely. This is why the $0 to $20,000 journey is the hardest and the most important. Not because of the maths actually gets easier as you go, but because you're actively fighting an identity you've held possibly for years. You're reprogramming the story you tell yourself about who you are with money. So here's the final answer this video set out to give you. Why does everything change after you save $20,000? Because $20,000 is not just a financial milestone. It's a cognitive threshold, a behavioral turning point, and an identity shift all happening simultaneously. Below it, you're managing scarcity. Above it, you're managing growth. Below it, your brain is in reactive mode. Above it, it can engage in strategic mode. Below it, opportunities pass you by because you have no capacity to take them. Above it, you start to see them and to act on them. The data from behavioral economics, financial psychology, and real-world savings research all points to the same place. The first $20,000 is not just the first step. It is the step that makes all the other steps possible. Here's the reframe I want to leave you with. Most people treat saving as something they'll do when things get easier, when they get a raise, when the rent goes down, when the kids finish school. But here's what the data says. Things get easier when you save. Not before. The savings create the conditions for the ease, not the other way around. $20,000 is the proof of concept. It's the evidence your brain needs that you're capable of building wealth. And once you have that evidence, the whole financial equation changes. Now let me give you a practical path forward because this video is about action, not just understanding. Step 1. Track every dollar for 30 days. Not forever, just 30 days. The data will show you exactly where the savings opportunity is. Most Australians find between $200 and $500 per month in expenses they don't consciously choose. Subscriptions, convenience spending, habitual purchases that don't actually improve their lives. Step 2. Automate your savings before you can spend it. The day your pay hits, a fixed amount, whatever you can commit to right now, even if it's $50, goes directly into a separate high-interest savings account. Not into your spending account, not into offset, a separate account with a slightly awkward access process. Friction is your friend here. Step 3. Treat increasing your income as a financial priority, not a nice-to-have. The fastest route to $20,000 is not cutting expenses to zero. It's cutting moderately while increasing income meaningfully. One income stream, one skill upgrade, one pay negotiation conversation. Any of these can compress your timeline from years to months. The $0 to $20,000 journey is the hardest phase. Every financial analyst, every behavioral economist, every serious student of personal finance agrees on this. But it is also, without question, the most important, because it's the phase where you build the foundation that every subsequent dollar of wealth will be built on. Start there. Get to $20,000. Then watch what changes. If this video gave you a different way of thinking about savings and financial momentum, consider subscribing to Aussie Finance with Buffet. We break down the data behind money so you can make decisions that actually work in the real world, not just in theory. And if you know someone who's stuck in that earn and spend cycle, share this video with them. Sometimes the right information at the right time is all it takes. See you in the next one.